I think at the moment we are already seeing consensus investing on a scale that I haven't seen before, where if something's hot, it's almost becoming self-perpetuating. And whilst you can make money and there's still further upside potentially from the momentum that's there, I think from a fundamental perspective, they are dangerous companies to be investing in, where the next 3 to 5 years of growth has already been factored into the current share price. So I do see that a lot of these are China-facing companies that have perhaps run too far, too fast on a fundamental perspective. Not to say they can't go further in terms of price action, but across the board, I'm seeing more value in the small cap space across the board, outside of those handful of names, than we've seen for some time. And there's a lot of good companies that are trading at single-digit PERs that I think through the cycle have still got good prospects. Yeah, so look, I think across the board, certainly retailing space, there's good retailing companies with 20, 30-year track records that are trading at depressed prices. Now, we're doing our work, we're not moving just yet because, again, the sentiment's against them. But things like, Godfrey's, good long-term track record, SFG Group, especially fashion, good long-term track record. These are businesses in that space that have really been underdone. The same way as you saw the reject shop habits, it's a moment now it's recovered. I think in the fullness of time, these are companies that will recover. We're also seeing it pretty much across the board, even in the consumer finance space. I think things like cash converters are looking interesting. I think things like AFG, which floated recently $1.20, is trading at $1. They're looking really interesting. They've had a long-term track record of double-digit EPS growth just year after year. Got pole position in their marketplace. Things like Yellow Brick Road, have had a serious retracement in their price, and yet on an underlying basis are growing their revenues at sort of 50-60% per annum. So I think across the board there's some really good value outside of that handful of names that have really captured the imagination of investors.